Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is a translation of Edars given by Imam Rashed Sahib. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Imam Sahib says that Allah has sent the Holy Quran as a guidance for the whole mankind, for the whole world. And about this, the Holy Quran says that it's the Hudal lin-Nas and Hudal lil-Muttaqeen. That means it is a guidance for every person in the world, and especially there is also guidance in it for the God-fearing, the righteous people. Where it says Hudal lil-Muttaqeen, guidance for the righteous, immediately after that the question can arise as to who is the true righteous person, and then Allah defines muttaqis as those who first of all they fulfill the condition that they believe in Allah completely, and then they express this faith that they have in Allah practically in this manner, that first of all they manifest this in their actions by first of all establishing their salat with all its proper conditions, and then they spend in the cause of Allah. As far as the establishment of salat is concerned, Imam Sahib is saying that we hear about this often in our meetings, and it should happen in this way, because this is such an important instruction, because the Holy Prophet ﷺ has spoken about this so much. He's spoken about this in an extensive and vast way, and from this vast treasure, Imam Sahib has chosen two traditions for today. The first of which is reported by Hazrat Abu Hurairah Radhiyallahu, which is from Tirmizi Sharif, which is a book of traditions. And according to this, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, and look at how emphatically he instructed the believers to offer their salat. The Holy Prophet ﷺ says that remember that on the day of judgment, when everyone will be called to account and nobody will be above that, and remember at that time that the first thing that everyone shall be questioned about is as to what your prayers are like, what your salat is like. Although Allah knows, but Allah will still ask his servants that you tell me, what do you think your prayers were like, your salat was like? And then the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, فَإِن salahat, if this accounting was satisfactory, then that person should be regarded as certainly being of those who are successful, and he's also the one who will attain salvation from punishment. But if this was unsuccessful, then he will be at a loss, and he will suffer damnation. So this is a warning, and it's an instruction and an advice which shakes one's being. And therefore we must analyze ourselves every single day, that are we prepared for these questions to be asked us on the day of judgment. If on the day of judgment we think we will say this or that, that will not work. The truth is what will be expressed, and according to that we will be brought to account, will be called to account. In another tradition, where Imam Sahib is saying that these words should be remembered, hasibu qabla an tuhasibu, that when the final when we will definitely be called to account on the day of judgment, so before that happens, you should call yourself to account. So keep analyzing yourself and change yourself accordingly. And then there is a message in here which the Holy Prophet ﷺ says that if if there is any lack in a person's obligations, obligatory prayers, if there is any lack or any defect in it, then Allah the Almighty says that He will instruct the angels that can you go and check if there is any optional virtue that my servant has done. Has he done any optional salat? And then Allah says that if there is any lack or any defect, then fill that lack with the optional prayer. Allah wants to forgive, but man should fulfill the obligations. And although the obligatory prayers, people can sometimes have defects in it, or they do not fulfill them in the correct way. So one should also then offer optional prayers so that any lack in our obligatory prayers can be filled with that. And then after that, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that one by one the rest of one's actions will also be called to account. As far as the optional salat is concerned, in this regard, you should be remembered that from the traditions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, it's very clearly advised that after the obligatory prayers, the optional prayers, everyone should offer at home while they are on their own in solitude. When they are offered, they are beloved by Allah. When you offer your if you offer your optional prayers in front of other people in a gathering, then there might be a chance of people getting impressed with that person. There might be a chance of a bit of a show off, a person being a bit of a show off. But if they go home and offer it, then it instills a kind of feeling in their minds which can bring about a pure change in them. So the optional prayers should be offered in solitude at home, but there are some optional prayers which are supposed to be offered in the mosque, and that they should be offered. There is no, it doesn't matter, but the best place to offer optional salat is at home. This should be remembered. The next tradition has been taken from the book of tradition called Bukhari, and in this there is a beautiful example of how to offer salat. The Holy Prophet ﷺ had a very beautiful manner of giving advice, that he would give examples to his companions and try to make them understand something so that they become easy to understand, and they are also engraved in people's minds, and it gets embedded in them. So in this tradition, Hazrat Abu Hurairah narrates that once he heard the Holy Prophet ﷺ say that if someone has a stream running outside his house, right outside his door, a stream of water, and he goes and he bathes in it every day 5 times, then do you expect there to be any filth or any dirt left on his body? So this is also a way of the Holy Prophet ﷺ's advising people, that sometimes he would ask questions as well. So he would ask the companions, so that when they should give the correct answer, and which would then mean that they have understood what he was trying to say. So he asked that if someone has a bath 5 times a day, will there be any dirt or filth left on his body? And the companions say that no, there will not be any filth left on his body whatsoever. So this is what then the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, that remember that the 5 prayers that Allah has made obligatory upon us, this is exactly what its example is like. A salat is like taking a bath for a believer. Just like a bath cleanses the body, similarly the salat should cleanse one's heart, one's mind, one's soul, one's thoughts. So this is the example that's given about salat, and the result of that is then mentioned in this tradition, that after such prayers which are offered properly, then Allah will then will forgive that person's small and minor and major sins. So this is a beautiful manner of the Holy Prophet ﷺ's advice, that he would ask questions sometimes, and sometimes give examples to make people understand things properly. In the Holy Quran as well, another advantage of salat, which is mentioned, from which one can analyze one's own salat, and one can see if this condition has been fulfilled, which is that the Holy Quran says that the true salat is that which keeps one away from any evils, any obscenities. So if after salat we feel that we have become better, or we have gone forward towards goodness, then you should be contented that your salat is correct. And if you're not contented, then you should put your heart and soul into trying to make our salats better and better, and make it filled with concentration, and do it in the proper way. May Allah enable us to do this. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.